And I've got the live chat thing up here. This looks better. This is what it looked like the first time. All right. Okay, let's wait for a few people to get in here. And I'm so sorry, guys. How unprofessional of me. Let's let a few people get in here, and then we're going to start this off. All right. So if you've just joined in, basically we're going to do some player grades. I had some technical issues. Now we're starting again, which is very, very exciting. So hopefully we've actually got this to work. Tonight we're going to be doing player grades, player ratings, and I need your help to decide this. So, oh dear, much better. He's done it. Yes, people are getting in the chat now. This is so exciting. All right. I'm so sorry, everybody. You guys are very, very sweet. It is funny now. That's that little segment that screwed up is going to upload straight to YouTube, and everyone can watch it. So, look, maybe I'll just delete that really, really quickly, and then we can get underway. To be honest, so hang on. All right, player gradings. This is exciting stuff. A new format here on the stream, which is really, really cool. I'm going to be bouncing this down, and it's going to be on Spotify and Apple. So for all of those people on Spotify and Apple, you're going to be hearing me talk to the chat as well, which is something I haven't done before. I don't know if it's going to be good listening, bad listening, but hey, we are here together. Thank you to everyone who has commented on the chat so far. You're here with me and you're helping, which is fantastic. So I really, really appreciate it. All right. What we're basically going to do is the first 23 players on the list, we're going to grade and see what they got for the season. So last year when I did this, there was a little bit of confusion about what the grading system was. Now, the grading system, I'm going to say the sentence and you tell me if it makes sense in the chat, okay? What have we got here, George? Would you consider adding memberships for your channel? Potentially. I haven't really looked at much of that sort of stuff yet, to be honest. A few people did ask to contribute as well, which is really, really nice. So I will definitely, I'll definitely consider that in the future if you guys would like to support the channel in those ways. I feel bad asking anyone for any money or to subscribe to stuff and that sort of thing. But hey, you guys have been so supportive so far. So anyway, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do it we're grading their performance against what their expectation was. So what we will do is, as an example, what we thought of Dylan Stephens going to the season would have been a D, maybe an F if you're really harsh, but a D. But we got a lot more. So his season is going to be good compared to someone even like a Harry Sheezel, who we expected A+++, but didn't quite live up to that. That is basically the rating and the grades. If that makes sense, please put in the chat thumbs up, because some people didn't get it, and I want to make sure everybody understands this before we start the stream. And look, to everyone listening on Spotify and Apple, this is going to be a thing that you don't really have a choice over because you're listening to it late. All right, let's look at some of the things over here. What are people saying? A lot of kanga, some roo-roo-roos. I love this sort of stuff. Please let me know in the chat if the grading system makes sense to everybody. I don't know if there's much delay here on the chat, but we will get into this very, very, very soon. So we're going from player, well, we don't have a number 1 on the team, but we're going from number 2 all the way to number 23, and we're going to end it at Geordie Payne. And then maybe we'll do one on Thursday night, maybe over the weekend. I'll see what you guys are thinking by the time that we finish the stream, and we can pick another night to do from Tom Power at 24 all the way up to Cooper Trambath at 47. So this is very, very exciting. And here we go. I'm going to put this one. I think this is Brighton here. Each player ranked on 2 ratings, expectations and performance. Not ranked on 2 ratings, ranked. That's how we're adjudicating it. So we're ranking their season compared to what we thought they would do. So as an example, Dylan Stephens would probably get a high grade because we didn't expect much of him. So for him, he had like an A or a B season because we didn't expect much of him. But someone like a Harry Sheezel maybe gets, a B or a C plus or like a B minus because we expected A. And even though he was fantastic those last few games, he did have a bit of a down year. LD is another example of this. We expect A pluses. We didn't get that. So what's that season for him as an individual? Does that make sense? I hope it does. It'll all make sense. Anyway, George here. Thought Steve was pretty solid. He does all the hard running. Well, yeah, I completely agree with that, mate. David says, yeah, that makes sense for rankings. It'll all come together as we go on team. So let's get into this. And what we're going to do, number 2, first-year player, Finn O'Sullivan. Okay, so what I want you guys to do in the chat is put your gradings in there, and I'll read some of them out, and I'm going to talk about what I think. So it's hard to know exactly with Finn O'Sullivan, a first-year player. Harry Sheasel definitely made us feel like every first-year player should be an A+ off the bat. That is not an expectation. But, you know, a number 2 draft pick coming into the club, and genuinely, I think he maybe exceeded expectation. And I know that sounds really, really hard, like really, really crazy because we expect so much from someone who's a number 2 pick, but how well did Finn O'Sullivan fit down in that back line? I thought, you know, so comfortably. DJ's gone B, B+, B+. Ooh, okay. All right, so everyone who's commenting that, please put in the chat why we're thinking B, B+. C, pick 2 from Kane. Geez, I don't know about that, mate. No, I don't think Finn. And look, I've got overruling power here. I'll try and get your thoughts and compartmentalize these all together, but I am making the final call at the end of the day. Gary here says a very solid all season. He's very solid all season. Totally went under the radar with his decision-making and distribution. That's 100% correct. I'm probably even thinking in the A's, but, you know, people were sort of saying B+. Do we go B+? I'm going to write all these down on my phone as well, and we're going to go back through these. Maybe I'll do a little graphic, you know, and put it on socials. Anyone think anything different than B+? I think, yeah, okay. Let's have there's a really nice message here. Josh, first season listener. Thank you so much, man. This is from AWS. Thank you. Your channel is epic. I agree with most of your opinions except for Harvey. I understand. He has the footy smarts. He will be epic. I like Harvey. I said we should keep Harvey. Okay. Foss composure hasn't met a B-. Oh, harsh. Wow, we got a lot of chats coming in here. I'm doing my best to keep up. Michaela, fit into the defense so seamlessly. B+. I feel like B+ is the overall answer here. I think for Finn O'Sullivan, you know, we have high expectations of high draft picks, yes, but to come in and fit in so seamlessly. But yeah, composure with the ball, does everything right. There's room to grow. I can see here for Shadow, B-, mate. There's room to grow. Very high ceiling, 100%. But it's this season. I think he had at least a B+ season. This season, could we have got any more from Finn O'Sullivan this year? I think B+. But the reason I'm debating this is what more, and put this in the chat, what more could he have done to get an A? Because I don't think he could have done any more this season. So maybe more midfield time and we could have seen a bit more of him in there, but that's not really his decision, is it? So do we think A is too high? Let's make this final because we don't want to go too long on each individual player here. We got a message from James here. The reason why I don't reckon he gets an A is because he didn't get enough of the footy, only averaged around 15 touches. I mean, look, I get what you're saying. Maybe harsh on a first-year player, but I do understand what you mean. So, all right. I feel like B+ is in the chat here, even though me personally, I would probably go even with an A potentially. I reckon if he played more mid-time, he probably gets an A from James there. Foss will be the best out of the lot. Just wait. Yeah, look, that's from Harry here. I'll put that up on the screen. I don't disagree. All right. All right. I still feel like A- is more fair. Could have had Harry Sheasel first year, which would be an A+. He could have, but I guess he played in a different position. Yeah. If A+ is Harry Sheasel, A- for Foss, or B. Okay. Everyone, I think there's a lot of Bs here. what we're going to do is we're going to go B plus. We're going to go B plus because I'm teetering on A because I don't know if we can really offer much more. Or he could have offered much more than what he gave. But all right, we're going to go B plus for Finn O'Sullivan. All right, our Lord and Savior is next, Harry Sheezel. Now, I'm going to be very interested to see what all the chat thinks about this because just remember with Harry, this is his probably his most down year. Now, for a down year, he's averaging even better than normal AFL numbers. So I'm not saying he had a bad year at all, but there was definitely a lack of impact on games this year for Shees. And we maybe didn't see him at his match winning, but game winning best and all that sort of stuff. So what are we going to say in the chat about Harry Sheezel? I'm thinking off the top of my head, B or B minus. But if I feel like Finn O'Sullivan had a better season expectation wise than what Harry Sheezel. Harry Sheezel, if anything, underperformed, and that's not me saying that he is a bad player. He's a goddamn superstar, and this guy is going to be a captain of our hopefully a premiership one day. But some people are putting A's and things in the chat. I don't think Harry Sheezel had the season we thought he would. From last year. We've got George here, statistically brilliant, but below his generational standard. And that's the point of these rankings. Finn O'Sullivan didn't have a big expectation, but wildly exceeded what we thought he would do. She's had a crazy high expectation, but he didn't quite live up to that. So maybe B minus for Harry Sheezel. Do you think that is fair? What else have we got here? James Shees did average 29. The stats are phenomenal, but watching the games, it was a lack of impact. Michaela here has another chat up here as well. B, lacked impact for first half of the season, but was never poor. Just remember, guys, I love Harry Sheezel and he was never poor, but was he as good as the years gone by? I don't think we can be in A's for Harry Sheezel. Angry Age says, A, the coaching staff stuffed him up by playing in different positions. Honestly, I'm feeling a B minus for Harry Sheezel here. Still averaged fantastic numbers, still did what we know he can do, but the impact on the games wasn't there quite enough. There's reasons behind this. Surely we can all understand this. I mean, Shadow here, B plus, final answer B plus. I don't know if we can give him B plus because Finn O'Sullivan got B plus and Finn O'Sullivan went over his expectation, but Harry Sheezel was under his expectation. So I think in Harry Sheezel, ranking what we know of Harry Sheezel, I think he's slightly underperformed for what we know he can do. Bonnaroo here says, bit harsh, thought he had a great season, A minus. Yeah, I think he had a pretty good season too, but it wasn't as good as the last two seasons. So does anyone here agree with a B minus? Because that's sort of what I want to go. And that's not me saying he didn't have a good season, but his standard is A plus plus plus, and I don't think he kind of hit that. So I think B minus is fair. But hey, get these in the chat for the next 30 seconds before we move on, and let's see what we can do, because everyone's sticking with A. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he can be in the A's because last year, if he was an A last year, we can't have him there again because he wasn't as good. He was still very good, but he wasn't as good. The B flat, I reckon, from James. Clancy here, I'll put this one up on the screen. His ball use wasn't his usual best, which is one of his biggest weapons. 100%. His impact was down. His ball use was down. And once again, if Harry Sheezel is down on anything, he's still a well above average league player. Look, I'm going to nearly pull some rank here, guys. I think B minus for Shees. I've got a B minus in the chat here from James as well. Harry, here we go from Zach. Let's have a look here. Harry's being spoken about last season as a possible 40-man All-Australian squad inclusion, which wasn't the case this year, even from North fans. B for mine. And I think that sums it up. I think that's perfect. He's an All-Australian-esque player last year in the squad, and he didn't quite get to that. All right. I'm going to go B minus for Shees. Everyone's saying B, but I'm going to go to a B minus, I think. Maybe because I have a really, really high expectation. Okay. Let's go to Aiden Core. Aiden Core. Now, let's try and be a bit polite with people because of their injuries and things like that. We got to speed these up too. We've got so many to get through, so let's not linger as much as we have. Aiden Core, put him in the chat. What do you think? I think Aiden Core would probably, injury kept him out a lot. He did play when he was healthy, but I'm thinking maybe like I don't know, maybe like a C or a C minus for him. I mean, going from playing nearly every single game to dropping down a lot. I don't know. C minus, D's in the chat. B plus for Corey from Jonty. Interesting. Jonty, put in the chat why you think a B plus for Aiden Core. I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can do that. Michaela's got a D. PS has a D. DJ D. Ooh, harsh from Aiden Core. Do we think it's harsh with the injury, or do we think D is the way to go? Yeah, James says here, D, he got dropped earlier in the season. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm trying to be nice to Aiden Core. Maybe a D is the way to go. Will he play next year as well? That's very, very interesting. Yeah, everyone's putting D. D plus for Gary. He missed a lot of the season, but looked good when he was on the park. I don't disagree with that. I don't think he did much wrong. Angry Age, give him an A, never to play again. Yeah, okay. C minus. I think C is probably the average here. Yeah, okay. Let's go C for Ada. C for Core. That's a nice one there. I think that's probably fair. Look, stiff because of the injury, and I completely understand that. We got some C pluses, C minuses here. Let's average it out, and let's go C for Aiden Core. I mean, he's getting on. The injury kept him out, but he did get dropped early in the year. Dawson made his way into the team. I mean, Toby Pink sort of took his spot as well. Interesting to see what he can contribute next year. George Coraful fought against the Crows. Their mate. George, tell me what Aiden Core was in the forward line. A+++. Shadow here. Injury did disrupt his season, subject to those around him. Yeah, Jonty, I think this is fair. Injuries happen, so can't rate him on missing games. He was solid. One of his best years for us. Interesting. Yeah. All right. Are we going D, or do we go C minus because of the injury? Put your final ratings in the chat, and then we're going to move on to a very controversial one next. Last one's in the chat. C minus or D? Put one or the other. C minus or D? I'm just trying to go maybe because of the injuries and stuff like that. I feel like it's harsh to give him a D, but please let me know before we get on to Caleb Daniel, because that is going to be the one that really, really divides opinions here. And you know my opinion on it. And like I said, I will pull rank if I have to here, being the one on the stream. But let's see. Okay, look. C minus, D plus, C minus, C minus, C minus. There's a lot of C minuses here. All right. C minus for Core. C minus, C minus, C minus. All right, we've got heaps of C minuses here. All right. C minus it is. All right, let's move on. Caleb Daniel. Now, I will concede, even though I'm a Caleb Daniel fan. Yeah, Jake, this will blow up the chat. Be careful. All right, guys, let's see how we go. If we can get through this, we can get through anything together. That's what I love. Caleb Daniel this year. Here's my pros and cons for Caleb Daniel. I think Caleb Daniel was a lot better than what people gave him credit for. I think Caleb Daniel got the scapegoat treatment a lot of the time. And I think he was a lot more solid, especially when he had defenders behind him. Now, all the injuries that happened in the defense, I don't think that it's fair to blame him for not being able to defend as well when that's not his job. Everyone writing F, I mean, that's just not going to happen. Absolutely not. That's crazy. Let's have a look here. So Glenn says Caleb needs better moving forward targets to allow him to show his potential. Needs to be freed up from kick-ins. Completely agree. I sort of think Recent bias from James. Absolutely not. No, I think he was pretty good for most of the season, to be honest. I think the things that let him down was him having to cover for a lot of the guys that that weren't there when Hardiman went down, when Archer went down, when McDonald went down. I don't blame him for getting stuck one-on-one against Sam Darcy and that sort of stuff. And people really don't help him out. In my head, I'm thinking the C+, B-. Let's look at Zach's comment here. Daniel gets a B for mine. When he played well, he looked amazing, but his weakness and deficiencies defensively and with the kick-ins are very bad when exposed. Yeah, look, and I agree with that 100%. And that's why, like, B maybe is a little bit too high, I would say. His expectation was high, and I don't think he reached that expectation, although I don't think he was anywhere near as bad. You know, he had some howlers. Jake here, the howlers disposal-wise, stand out because of his position. I understand. I can nearly guarantee anyone else you put in that area of the ground is going to make some mistakes too. I mean, look, you're really not kicking it to anyone. You know, Sherry doesn't get down there and take those big marks and that sort of stuff. Shadow says has to be a C+. Yeah, turning the ball. Look, and Jake's talking about this here. And yep, I agree with the turnovers, and that's why he's not getting, you know, in the high Bs or in the As or anything like that. Clancy here, I expected, let's see if this one can pop up on the screen. Is it not? Anyway, I expected an A from Caleb. Probably got a C- though. Only big excuse I give him is we're so stagnant up the ground. Yeah, the two things I would say is there's stagnancy up the ground, and the defenders behind him let him down a lot. And especially when they got injured, which is not their fault, but I think he got let down defensively a lot. You could see when we were solid defensively or having games we weren't leaking through the midfield, his playmaking was fantastic. All right. I'm probably thinking like C+. That's probably where I'm looking to go for a Caleb Daniel. Now, I know, once again, this is going to divide. We've got B-. We've got a lot of different things in here. Okay, put your final ratings in the chat before we move on. I'm thinking C+ from Caleb Daniel, even a B- personally, but I understand that's just me and maybe not what everyone else. We've got a D- here. I don't think so. No, I think that's a little bit harsh. You know, you could even maybe convince me on a C, but I still think C is maybe more fair. Lachlan here's got B-. Yeah, we've got a comment here. D- purely due to his role in the backline not working. 0 defensive attributes. His final 2 games showed we could be B or an A. Yeah, I understand that. It's not his fault he can't defend. That's for the defenders to do behind him. That's not the role. B, we got B-, we got C-, we got B-, C+. I think C+ is really averaging this out here. Another C+ here. All right. And okay, we're going to end it on this. And I think Glenn is absolutely right here. C+ seems fair. He's a B+ grader in a better drilled team. And I think he'll get to that. All right. I'm going to go C+ for Caleb Daniel. George Wardlaw. This is a very, very interesting one. Okay. What is George Wardlaw? Injury, yes, but I think he had a pretty down year. His disposal was bad. When he came back from that concussion a few weeks out, I think he was really, really good. I don't know. Give me your George thoughts, guys, because post coming back after the Hawthorn concussion, he was fantastic, absolutely phenomenal. But before that, genuinely, I don't think he was great at all. Let's not try to, we love George, and this is nothing personal, obviously, and he's one of my favorite players when he's up and about, but the disposal wasn't there initially through the season. Obviously, he missed the first 6 weeks with injury, but when he came in, he just wasn't at his best for me. James here says C+ was good, but went missing too often. B for Wardlaw from Lachlan. Interesting. I think B's maybe a little bit high because I don't want to get too recency bias in this section. I'm going to be harsh. C+ from Angry Age. I think you might be right. I think a C plus, a B minus is sort of where I'm at. Jonty here finished the year very strong. Again, interrupted year and hasn't reached his potential yet. C minus. Oh, that's harsh. I think maybe higher than a C minus, but C plus is probably where my head is. Zach here, C plus for George, second half of the year and last handful of games were a huge step away. And if we see that form throughout next year with more time on ground, I agree. I agree. He did get low time on ground, and James has pointed this out as well. Okay. Bonnaroo here says C minus before injury, A after, so B. Ooh, I don't mind. I think B feels too high for his overall season because he only had 3 or 4 games or so after he came back when he was really, really good. But I like the logic there. B minus, okay, maybe B minus. Do we think B minus? Yeah. Shadow here, B minus, because he did make an impact that was more influential than what we rated Caleb Daniels best. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair as well. All right, we're going to go B minus for George. I think that's pretty fair. And Jonty here, he looks good in the mid with Shears and LD. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I agree with that. All right. Dersma. This is going to be a very, very interesting one, and this might be the most harsh. This could potentially be our first F, to be fair. He got opportunities, and he did not take them. So many times, single digits in games, lack of impact. I mean, God, F, D minus. If anyone can tell me why it's higher than a D minus, I'm very, very interested to see in the chat. All right. Really quickly here, I'm seeing some people. PS has just posted this about the same rating as Shees. The difference is Shees' expectation, I think, was higher, and he didn't sort of reach it. I don't think George was at that. So I think that's fair. F, D, D minus. Zane, Jesus, a lot coming in here. Robert saying Dersma to Essendon. St. Ters's rating is lost in the mail. Yeah, it's all D minuses. Can we only be an F? Yeah, for sure. Doesn't deserve a letter F. Yeah. And this from Joshua here. Next year has to be his year, but I think someone with his body build would take the last 2 preseasons. I'll take at least 2 preseasons. So, yeah. All right. I'm seeing a lot of D minuses here. Can someone give me a reason in the chat why it's not an F? Because I'm so disappointed with him. Don't worry about his potential. We're not worrying about the future. We're worrying about this season and this season only. You know, he showed so much the year before. He got his opportunities this year and did not take it. So, you know, are we going to go anything? They're still deliberating on George Wardlaw. George lifts the boys B, yeah, but he didn't have a B grade season. His season was underwhelming. He does lift everybody, but his disposal was bad. He didn't play much. He wasn't in good form. I think, anyway, we're not on George Wardlaw anymore. We'll move on from this. I understand this is a controversial topic for everybody. We're not all going to agree. But like I said, I've got to pull rank here. All right, let's have a look at some of these comments. I reckon E. Well, people are saying E. We're not doing E because that's not how teachers grade things. So thank you, Michaela, I agree with everything you've said just there. But look, we've got D minus or F. They're the ratings. Glyn is always the voice of reason. He shouldn't get an F as he was played out of position, subbed off, played a few games in a row. She said is struggling. Yeah, okay. All right. A D minus. I think. Bonnaroo also, D minus for me. Okay, Dersma gets a D minus. I think that's fair. If anything, I think maybe different. Maybe an F, to be honest. We're not doing E's, guys. Joshua got an E once. E for excellent, mate. E for educated and excellent. Knowing you with all these comments, my friends. Michaela, true. Yeah, fantastic stuff. All right. And everyone's, I'm assuming that's meant to say Glyn there. But anyway, let's get on to the next person here. I mean, Bailey Scott, F? Surely it's an F. This has got to be one of the worst seasons from such a good player, and they just absolutely fell off a cliff. Put your ratings in the chat. Angry Age, Soft Josh. Maybe I'm a big softy, mate. I love my North boys. I'm being kind and giving him a D-. But look, I'm only doing that because the chat mainly said D-. I probably would have given him an F personally, but hey, this is a collaborative effort. All right, Bailey Scott. Give me your Bailey Scott ratings. I mean, we've already got this one right here. Big old F from James. All right, hang on. Shadow here. Bailey Scott is a solid C. If anyone can tell me that, and he's come back, whoa, settle down. Okay, Bailey Scott's not getting Fs. Interesting. Give me your reasonings. Here. I mean, really, come on, guys. D-. He still played a few games. He did play games, but has to be an F for big body. Interesting. Became surplus to the needs of the club. That's it. Dylan Stevens flogged his spot and he could not get in. I think we got to give him an F, guys. I think we're being too conservative here. That's a shocking season from his standards. He was a bona fide locked starter the entire time. And no, absolutely no. I think it's got to be an F. Joshua says, C, he hasn't played. Well, that's why he gets an F, because he hasn't played. He's got a lol there. He's laughing. Jonty, D-. That's disappeared in the chat. Such an impressive fall off. F if he didn't make it into the senior side. I don't disagree. We've got Bonnaroo here. Yeah, F for me from 2 years ago when he was one of our best. To this year, he didn't perform at all. Yeah. Michaela, I mean, this is a great. He played 12 games. Yeah, I swear he played 6 as well. He's getting an F. If someone has to be an F, it has to be Bailey Scott. It must be the most, it must be the most disappointing season from a player that we love so much. And I really, really hope that he comes back next year and becomes the player. Because if we can get him and Stevens on the wing playing how we know they can, I think that's a decent combo to move us up the ladder. So look, I think it's got to have. I think it's got to have an F, just because of the expectation compared to what he dished up. The last comment here before we move on: Bailey Scott had 2 outlier seasons. Those seasons averaged 82 points in fantasy. All other seasons averaged 55. That is true, but I guess the last couple of seasons we've grown to expect certain things from him, right? And that's because we loved him and we want him to be that player. So look, I think we've got to go F here, guys. All right, LDU, our $1 million man, as of next season, not this season. LDU. Oh, hang on, we got an interesting comment here from Mike. I'm Finbar's dad. He's getting 1 more year on his contract. Well, look, it's Mike Oxlong on here. I don't know why your last name's not Maley then, but Mike, if that's true, thank you for the insight, mate. Let's see if they announce that soon. All right, LDU. I think we're in a similar boat for Shees here. Who had a better season, Sheasel or LDU? I think this is an actual question that's really, really close. I think LDU had games who was more impactful consistently than Shees did, but the numbers weren't as good. I think we both expect A+ from these players. What do we think about LDU? I think maybe like a B- is probably where, which is probably fair. We got PS says B. I mean, James says C-. I don't think it was that bad. I think he was consistently okay for a long time, and then I think he also had some good games. I don't think he had any shocking games. Zach here, B+ for LDU. Sometimes he just has his passenger hat on, and I still struggle to put 100% faith in him delivering consistently. 100%. B+. I'm sort of going around the B- range. I think him and Shees had, a similar expectation, but similar output. Do we think in the chat that Shees had a better year than LDU? Put that in the chat right now. Because I don't personally think, I don't know. I think they're pretty similar, and that's kind of what I want to do here. B- from Kane here. Yeah, B from Michaela as well. We got a B from Colin. Okay, guys, do we think that he had a better year than Harry Sheezel? I think this is where we're trying to go here. B-, C, or B+. Rugirl, that's very far apart. We need to narrow this down a bit more. Shadow, C+. AWS Oars F big time. Mr. Bloody Negative in the chat right now. Absolutely not, sir. You know, what are you talking about? She's had a better than the LDU from James. Oh, okay. I'm thinking B. I'm thinking B-. We've got Clancy here, probably C+, was down on disposal quality, fumbled a heap and didn't grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Yeah, I agree with that. C+. Jonty's got a B here. We beg for those impactful games and a weekly occurrence. Feels like he could be all Australian. When he's on, yes. And he did have plenty of games when he was on as well. He performed the same time she's performed when we got those guys in the middle. All right. I think we're going to go smack bang on B- for LDU here. I think this is averaging out what the chat is saying. Jake here, last comment before we move on. LDU started driving with his legs out of the contest more again as opposed and then bombing it. Yep, 100%. Yes, a better year than Sheezel. Oh, okay. Oh. And Bonnaroo, B+, wish he would stop bombing it forward, or don't we all, for all the team. When he did, he delivered it beautifully. She's had a better year. Oh, okay. Look, I think the chat's pretty split here. Rugo here, I think she's and LDUCs are about the same. All right. B-. Now, one of my favorite players here, guys, number 10, Colby McKercher. I think he stepped up from last year, started a little bit slow. We know my Colby love is high. But for me, if this isn't in the A's, I got to overrule here. I think Colby was fantastic. I think he was arguably our best player for the second half of the season. So I think it's got to be, right? It's got to be in the A's somewhere. If anyone thinks anything else other than A for Colby, put it in the chat. I'm not going to agree with you, but let me know because I want to be impartial here. Joshua, we're still on LDU with a few of these chats. I'm just waiting for everyone to catch up. There's a slight delay. For my rating for Colby McKercher, I want to give him an A. Here we go. Here are all the ratings here. Rugel, A+. Michaela, A or B+. A+++ from James. Colby, A. Kane, A. I love this. Yeah, he was phenomenal. He was fantastic. A-. Okay, let's read a couple of these out. James, this is harsh. We'll have words. B+ doesn't get an A. He was almost dropped first half of the season. I don't think he was almost dropped. I think the fans wanted him dropped for some silly reason, but would have instantly regretted that. Angry Age. Just pull on your leg. Thanks, mate. I appreciate the banter here. Now just pull your leg. A for sure. 100%. It's an A. Zach here, B+. Colby turned it up mid-season. We're in the A's here, guys. Most people have said A. A-. What could he have done to get an A+? Maybe did what he did all season. I think 3/4 of the year is pretty good. It took a little bit for us to come around. Now, this one here is a bit harsh from Michael, I think. First half of the season, he was a B or B-. Oh, sorry. I think he meant B-. Second half of the year. Pushes him to an A. My mistake, Michael. I apologize. Pushes him to an A. Yeah, I'm thinking A. The only reason, because he was that good in the second half of the year, one of the only reasons why we drove off half back at all. His disposal is elite. Yeah, he tries some hard kicks, but hey, we get there. So I'm going to go A for McKercher. A+ if he did it all year. I don't think he was nearly dropped. I think, and look, Jake is 100% spot on. He F for fantastic, even though I'm not writing down F. Okay, I think A. A is fair. I'm going to give him an A because I think he was that phenomenal. Stepped up on last year as well. Got better than he was last year. Was our best player second half of the year. I think Sherry dropped a little bit second half of the year. Maybe why he didn't get that All-Australian squad personally. But I think Colby was our best player second half of the year. So he got better. I'm going to give him an A. I'm going to give him an A. We couldn't have asked for much more for Colby for the second year. A+ if he did it all year. Okay, Luke McDonald. This will be a very, very interesting one. Now, I know the chat takes a little bit to come back to me here. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a spiel for a minute. Luke McDonald, I think, was fantastic when he played. Now, his injury, I don't think we can rate him down because he didn't play as much because of an injury. That's what I was sort of talking about. Aiden Core. I think we go a solid B or a B+ for Luke McDonald. I love this from Aussie. The only A+ is your podcast at Further North. Thank you so much. That's so nice. Glenn here for LMAC. B+ based on expectations for LMAC. B from James was very good before injured. Yeah, I'm thinking, around the B+. Versus expectation from Kane here in A. And that's what we're trying to rate it on, versing their expectation. Because that's all we can rank them on is what we thought they would give us, what we're expecting them to give us, and what they did or didn't do. B+. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of B+. PS here, B- maybe stepped up back to better form. Yeah, B- maybe a little bit harsh. I think his expectation was lower and he exceeded it. So I think that means you've got to be like B or above personally. James here almost back to his 2020 form. Yeah, I think he was really good. A from Michaela. Really, really interesting. Okay. I think B+ is fair. Put your final markings in the chat here. Injury did stop him in his tracks from Shadow. Yeah, I agree. We've got one from Reese here. A, as he stepped up big time after dropping the captaincy in what was not a great year in 2024. Yeah, completely agree. And when Archer went down as well, we thought, oh no, who's going to play on your Bobby Hills and stuff? And I think he did really, really well covering that role. So look, I'm going to give him a B+. I think that's where we're going to go here for Luke McDonald. We're seeing Bs and B+ in the chat. I think I'll rule this one a B+. We've got a couple of A's in there, but not many B-. So B+ for Elmac. Fantastic stuff for him. Another interesting one here, Jai Simpkin. What is Jai Simpkin this season? Well, after that Indigenous All-Stars game, I mean, we expected big things from Jai. Captain of the club, solo captain of the club. I think he gets harshly criticized. There's a part of me that thinks he didn't perform as much as we thought, but there's another part of me that goes, but I think he's harshly criticized and was a lot better in games that I think we don't give him enough credit for. Do you know what I mean? I'm sort of thinking around the B- for Simpkin. Do you guys think that is fair? I think C in the C's is harsh. I think he gave us what we needed. We've got a lot of C's coming in here. I got B+, B, C+ from Michaela for Simpkin. Michaela, let me know. Give me a little justification there in a sentence as to why you feel that way. B- for Jai from Lachlan. James, C, he was good, but went missing once on the wing. He was amazing. We're getting a lot of C+ here as well. C+ thought he was primed for a great season. Did we expect that from him? I guess we did after the game. B or B- from Michael, another who improved as the season went on. B+. Okay. Shadow here. We expected an A-grade season, but got a solid B. Okay. So we're sort of around the C+. Some people giving Bs. I think B- sort of splits the difference in what the chat is saying here. Shadow, got to be a solid B. Got to be a B here. I like Jai. He gets, I've lost that one there. I like Jai. He gets way too much hate from Joshua. I agree. Completely agree. A lot of Bs here for Jai. B started pulling out of contests for a while. Yeah, the turnovers, though, were bad. Jake here, simply gets a B-, goes missing a lot. He is one of those players that goes missing too often. I will be watching a game and think, oh, yeah, is Simpkin playing? Yeah, B or B-. Okay, I want you guys to pick from B or B-. We've got Jonty here. Bang on Josh, B-, but finished the season pretty strong. Like him on the wing and lingering around the stoppages. Yeah, completely agree with that. Lifts the team, often kicks a goal in important games. Yeah, that's true. He does. B or B-. Put your final grade in there. Pick one of those, B or B minus, and the most in the chat will win. Oh, B or B minus. I'm so split. Maybe a B because when he was good, he was good. B for Simpkin from Gary here. He played injured for most of the year, but when he went to the wing, he was great. All right. Is B fair? And once again, this doesn't mean that he had a better season than Sheasel. We're just ranking compared to what we expected them to do. B minus, B. We're getting more Bs here. All right. B for Simpkin. Once again, that doesn't mean he had a better year than LDU and Sheasel. It just means he basically matched or was around about slightly above, slightly below, whatever you think his expectation. Okay, Darcy Tucker. This one's going to be harsh. Please keep in mind he had a back injury for most of the year. But when he played, I think he was one of those ones where we all wanted to be dropped. We wanted Hardiman's in. We wanted to give those guys opportunity. Darcy Tucker, I'm thinking D. The injury's harsh on him. He can't prevent that. And was he awful when he played, or did we just want an upgrade on him? I think that is maybe what we're feeling. Please remember here, when he played, he wasn't great, but I think we more wanted him dropped because we wanted Hardiman to play, not because he was horrendous. I don't think F is a little bit too harsh. D plus from Clancy. Yeah, I'm probably thinking around D for him. I don't think he was atrocious when he played. I don't think we expected crazy things from him. D or D plus, I think, is fair. We're getting D's, D plus. F from James had a 0 disposal game. Was that this year or last year? I thought that was last year. Tagged himself out of a game. D from George here. D from Jager. D, he wasn't terrible. He just wasn't good. Yeah. I think so too. Michaela here, D plus. I love how he puts his head over the ball every single time. We are past him now, but I think we judge him harshly. Yeah, I kind of think so too. D minus from Michael. D minus from Kane. Jakey, he suffers from being the steak knives in the Logue deal. We'll probably never accept him. D. I think D is fair. Yes, he had some bad games. James hates him. F for Tuckerman. The old Tucker box, from PS. Gary coming in with the voice of reason. D for Tucker. Other players around him have evolved, but he's stayed the same. I think D is fair. I think D is absolutely fair for Tucker. I don't think he was horrendous every time he played. I think we just moved past him. And, Angry Age here. D for delisted, which I think we can all understand probably will happen. Glyn here, we know he's got a lot of reason. I had low expectations and he managed to almost get there. You know what? Glyn, you've done it again. I think you've summed up how I'm feeling, and I feel like a lot of people are thinking. So, yeah, I think that's fair. Let's go D. I feel like that's a D rating. Here's one that's going to be harsh. I mean, look, I don't know how to rate some of these people who didn't play a game. Urquhart. Gavin Urquhart. No, Luke Urquhart. What do we rate him? I think maybe we just go, do we just say NA and don't rate? I think he was fine in the VFL. I think this is a hard one. Let me know. Do we just NA this one and go to the next? If you all agree in the chat, just let me know. Just type NA and we'll just go to the next ones, because maybe it's not fair. Last comment on Tucker here. He's a courageous player that a lot of people don't really pick up on, throws himself into harm's way, but just totally made irrelevant due to the team since Stevens came in. Low possession player. Yeah, I don't disagree. Shadow here, Urquhart must be a D, not fault of his own. The lad didn't get a game in each time. Yeah, I think we go NA on this one. I think ratings is harsh. Okay, let's go to Dylan Stevens then. I mean, look, if we're rating him on expectation versus what he delivered, which is the ranking for everybody here, I think he's got to be in the A's. I think a lot of us, not me, I always saw the light And I'll take that one to the grave. Anyway, in all seriousness, I think Dylan Stephens has to be an A. I don't think we could have asked for much more from him compared to what he dished up the season before and compared to what we thought he would do. We all thought he wouldn't play a game. A lot of people wanted him off the list, thought it was an awful, awful signing. I'm not saying he's the greatest player in the world, but compared to what we thought he would dish up, I think it's got to be an A. We're getting a few here. Solid B plus from Fabiano, my friend. Solid B plus effort given. Again, I didn't expect much this year. Yeah, I think it's got to be. I think he basically made Bailey Scott not play games of football this year. We're getting a lot of B pluses. I got some A's here now. Bonnaroo, Ava Stevens, so impressed. Went way better than I was expecting. I think that's why it's got to be an A. George as well with the A, given he was a whipping boy last year. This is where my head's at. Shadow Stevens has to be an A. Our most consistent wingman, A for Stevens. Yeah, we're getting a lot of A's in the chat here. I completely agree with the A's here. Couldn't have done much more. Here we go. P.S. B plus expectation. My first exposure to his name was from a Swan supporter who politely bagged him as soft and poor decision maker. He said he's been better than that. Yeah, look, I get a little bit soft, but he's a slender winger. I'm not expecting to put his head over the ball, but I think he had a lot of moments this year where he put his head over the ball, very, very well and didn't back out of a contest like a lot of people did. I think we're going to go A, and I think that sort of evens out the chat. I mean, Matt here has a B plus. I actually rated him higher than Scott coming into this year. Glad he improved. Fantastic. You and me, Matt, we're on the same wavelength here. We saw it. We saw the talent for Dylan Stephens. I'm going A, guys. I'm absolutely going A. He has to be an A. I think he exceeded expectation a lot. Christy here, I sit in the same area as you, the foddy. I didn't understand that one there, Christy. Sorry. I love the kangaroo. Yeah, we all love the kangaroo. Michael here, A or A minus because he exceeded expectation by a mile. That's what I'm saying. He exceeded the expectation by an absolute country mile. So look, we're going to go A on Stevens. I think that's A. We got A plus. We got a lot of A's. Got some B pluses, but I think A is fair. Could not have asked for more from Dylan Stephens to what he did. And look, this comment is 100% accurate. Deserves an A for that spoil on Sam Darcy alone. Fabiano, I came late. Have we rated Bailey Scott yet? Yes, we have, sir. Bailey Scott was an F, to be honest, because expectation versus reality. You couldn't have asked for, he could have asked for a lot more from Bailey Scott. So he got an F. Okay, let's go to Zach Fisher. Zach Fisher. James is jumping ahead here. We're not at Griffin Logue yet, mate. We need to do Zach Fisher first. Zach Fisher. Yeah, I think it's pretty low. Michaela, thank you for bringing that spoiler back to my mind. Absolutely. Zach Fisher here. I mean, look, injury as well. I'm trying to keep these injuries in mind a little bit. It hurts, but I think Fisher, we're probably thinking D off the top of my head. D, how many games did he play? Michaela, can you look up the amount of games he played? Because I don't want to move my screen around too much here. You're the statistician here. You told us how many games Bailey Scott played. I need you to tell me how many games he played. George said D. He didn't even play this year. F for Fish, James said. Couldn't break in. Yeah, I'm still thinking around D. I don't think when he played it was atrocious, though. It wasn't like, like what Scott dished up or even expectation for Dersma. I don't think he's quite there. P.S. I'm going to go an F for the Fishman. A D plus-ish from Clancy. 7 games, Glenn has said for us. Thank you for that. I reckon it was, yeah. Okay, interesting. 7. Did he play 7 games? Did he really? That feels high. But yeah, you're probably right. I'm sure you're right. I'm sure you've done your research. Very knowledgeable North fan. D plus for Michael. Couldn't break into the team all season. And when he did, his disposal was not to able standard. I'm just think of the times like against West Coast where he was such a spark in that forward line. I didn't mind his little cameos forward. Fabiano, I agree with what you're saying here, but we're going to try and rank on what we thought he'd do this year compared to what he did. I think D is probably fair. Harrison didn't mind. Small forward Fisher. Michaela says he had 7. Okay. I think that's what Glyn said as well. Yes, it was. So 7 games for Fish. Injury out a lot, but wasn't fantastic when he was in. I think D is fair. I think D is probably fair for him. He wasn't atrocious. It wasn't sore on my eyes. His few times forward were pretty eye-catching. I think he likes the ball in his hands and he progresses as forward. But, only playing that many games. Yes, injury with an asterisk on that. I think D is fair. We're getting a lot of Ds in the chat here. Jake here, Fisher was serviceable but couldn't break into the side enough. D. Yep, I think D is fair compared to what we thought he would do. Did we think he was going to be in the best 22 all year? Probably not. But yeah, I think that is true. All right, let's go on to Riley Hardiman. Riley Hardiman, this is going to be a little bit more positive here. Riley Hardiman breaking into this team. I think he is probably an A. Is he in the A's? Is he in the high B's? You guys let me know. I think, when he broke in, he never lost his spot until that concussion. I think that's fantastic stuff from Riley Hardiman. I'm probably thinking an A. What more could we have really expected from Hardiman? The only thing is, could he have played earlier? But I know that's not his fault. A minus for Hardiman. I think it's got to be really, really high. A plus for Hardiman from Gary here. Michaela, A, but I completely expected this from Hardiman. Future AA halfback. Oh, that's a big, big call. We're getting a lot of A's in the chat here. A from George, looked comfortable in his spots. I think an A is what we're going to go here. James, A plus. Really, really interesting. I love this. Michaela, first game was round 4, so pretty early. Was that Hardiman's first game, round 4? Did he get dropped again and then came back? Or did he play? He didn't play since round 4, did he? Surely not. Matt here says, A, he was much better defensively than I expected for first year at AFL level. Second year, technically. But yes, first year playing consistently for sure. I think A is evening this out here. Glenn says, less game time than last year, but nearly 30% more possession. Did he play more last year? Interesting. Angry Age, he gave me a massive Hardiman. Yes, I mean, look, we're all a little bit Hardiman when he's running down the wing and progressing that ball forward. All right. Yeah, I think A here. Everyone's going A. What is Jonty saying here? A, but I think we knew he was something. Absolutely. But he on size quickly, which means he put on size quickly, which means he detected. It's gone now. Sorry. Anyway, sorry. Which means he's dedicated, mate. These chats are moving so fast. I'm so sorry to hear me stumble around in all of this sort of stuff. Fabiano, what is he saying here? Have we seen him and Arch in the backline at the same time this year? Can't remember. I think maybe a few games. Look, everyone's going A here, so we're going to give Riley Hardiman an A. All right, let's keep rapid firing these so we can keep this around an hour. I haven't eaten dinner and I need to go and eat dinner. Will Dawson, broke into the side late though. It's hard because he did get dropped and he wasn't the best one-on-one, which I know is harsh because he's so young. Did we expect him to break into the team this year? Does it say how many games he's played this year? 2025 played in 5 games for Dawson this year. 3 last year, 5 this year. That game against Sam Darcy alone, is A-worthy. And once again, we're not rating him on his potential and his talent. We're rating him on what he dished up this year. I think I think back to the Swans game against McLean, and he got bullied. And against a player like that. The legacy game was the Darcy game, but I like him. Did we expect to play? I think this is we're jumping around all over the place here. B from Michaela, just not ready yet. I agree, but then Angry Age says C. Interesting. Fabiano's come in with some logic here. C plus to a possible B, given he needs to put on size. So I didn't expect him to get a game this year. Yeah, I didn't really expect him to get a game either. So him have 5 games, I think's all right. I'm thinking like C plus B minus. C plus B minus. What do you guys reckon? Shadow here. C plus. He kept Sam Dusty goalless when he was on him. I completely agree. And that game alone showed us his potential. B plus, improved for a 19-year-old key position player. Yeah, 19-year-old key position, playing 5 games and having a couple of games there where you're like, wow, this guy has to play. I think that's fair. B minus, C plus. I feel like B. Really, like, it's sort of what I thought maybe he would do. We're getting some B pluses, we're getting some B minuses, getting a couple of C's. We're getting a lot of B pluses here, though. I think B is fair. I think B is pretty fair here. Bonnaroo, B minus for Dawson. I was hoping for a bit more after his reserves form. Yeah, it's fair. He was getting a lot of time in the forward line, though, and then went back. He didn't really play much in the back line in the twos, I don't think. I feel like we played him forward a lot, but I guess first half of the year played a lot of defense and then went forward. He put on 17 kilos over the last preseason from Glyn there. His size is pretty good. Jonty C, I think C is a little bit harsh. Yeah, let's have a look here. I think B. We're getting a lot of Bs. All right, we're locking in B. All right, let's go to Griffin Logue. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more here. Let's power through this. We've got Griffin Logue here. Now, I know this one is going to be low. He is coming off ACL, getting back to form. I know that was the year before. Let's see how many games Griffin Logue played this year. Because a part of me feels like he played 6, and a part of me feels like he played 16. So I really have no idea. He played 16 games. Yep, there you go. I was spot on with my second prediction. 2 games in 2024, 16 games in 2025. I think we're going to rate him very, very harsh here. We're all disappointed, but I don't think he was abysmal. He had some good games as well. D plus is probably C minus D plus is where my head goes to. We've got D plus, we've got a C, we've got a D. D for Logue, he was exposed way too often from James there. Yeah, I don't disagree. He did have some good games in there. I think he's harshly judged. I don't think he's good enough at all, and I'm not trying to stick up for him too much, but I do think he's harshly judged. Matt says D plus 16 games, under 3 good ones. Yeah, we've got a D from Nuke here. C minus from George. He was very disappointing as a signing. Yeah, look, it's hard to rate him on a signing so far, I think. 15 games. He's never played more. This is the most games he's played for the club. 2023, 15 games. 2 last season. This season, 16. Wow, it has been an underwhelming signing. I'm thinking like a D plus or a C minus for Griff. C from Jake, struggled in our defensive structure. Only played 1 good game from Bonnaroo. C. It's a high rating for only 1 good game. I think C minus. We're getting Ds here. We're not getting any D minuses. We're getting some Cs. C minus or D plus. That's where I'm going to go. Put your final thoughts in the chat here. Put your final rating, just a rating, and I'll average out what's going on here. D, he was only exposed too much. He was exposed too much, but his injury affected him sadly. Yeah, that is true. Reese got to be an F. I don't know if it's an F. I think that's a little bit too low. Jonty D plus often looks lazy. Expect a lot more because we need more from a key back. Need a massive year next year. I completely agree with that. We're getting D's, D plus. I mean, I'm going to go D plus. I think I'm going to go D plus. I think anything less is a little bit harsh. D plus for Griff Logue, which is still a very low rating. All right, Larky. Let's go Larky here. We're getting a lot of D plus in the chat. Larky. Underwhelming from Larky. I think we're in the same bracket as Ashiz and LDU here, where we're looking at him as an A plus type player. Didn't quite get the goals. Yes, he was injured in that back 6 weeks of the year. But up until that point, I think we were all saying we need more from Larky. I think I'm gonna be harsh on Larky here. I'm thinking C plus. B minus, C plus. That's sort of where my head goes. B minus will match sort of what we gave Sheezel and LDU. But I think maybe he was more disappointing. Am I being too harsh? Bonnaroo says C against my very poor expectations. Oh, okay. Sorry. I think that's for Logue. All right, get your Larky comments in here. B minus for Larky, B for Larky, but he improved on his body and contested work. He did, but our expectation is so high. I don't think I can go higher than B minus for Larky. Reese says here, B plus works his tail off. Not his fault with the delivery inside 50. Yeah, that is fair. Maybe I can push it to a B, but B plus seems high. B for Larks, C to a B minus for Fabiano here. George says B, he looked like he was starting to fire up, but got cut short by the injury. He's at least, he's added some contested marking to his game. All right, B, I'm feeling B is a good overall. You're right. He did work on some stuff, but he had a lot of games where he didn't kick the goals that we wanted him to. He did not. He had plenty of games where he'd get like one goal. I swear. Let's have a look at his stats for the season here. So 41 goals from 17 games. Yeah, maybe. So last season in 2024, 46 goals from 23 games. So yeah, maybe I'm being a bit harsh. 17 games, so 6 less games and 5 less goals. So pretty similar. Okay, I'm thinking B on that. Still kicked a lot of goals. Maybe what I'm saying is not true. Maybe he did kick a lot of goals. He kicks goals consistently, but didn't have those big bags. Okay, kicking did drop off from PS here as well. Okay, I think I'm going to even this out and go a B. I think that's fair enough. He still kicked a lot of goals for the amount of games he played with the injury. So let's have a look here. Ed, do you think he improved his contested marking inside 50? I think he improved his contested work. I think up the ground he improved a lot, which was really good. And I don't think he got bodied out of contests as easy this year. A minor improvement. Foss here. Finn O'Sullivan's in the chat. Foss Jam. Evening, Josh. Looking a lot more nourished tonight after starving balls the other night. That is so true. I did point out I haven't had dinner yet again, but I tell you what, that Colombian dish was fantastic. Thank you for remembering that, Foss. I'll put your comment back up on the screen. Michael here says B has to be lower than last year, especially because his accuracy fell off. I think B is fair for Larky. I think we're going to go B for Nick Larky here. I'm getting a lot of B's in the chat. Okay. Let's go Callum Coleman-Jones. Now, remember, we didn't expect him to play a game. I don't think, after his Achilles and obviously Sherry being so good. He made his way back into the team, and his VFL form was very, very good after coming back from his injury. I actually think it's not a bad year from Coleman-Jones because of the Ed Plantains. Thank you so much. I don't think it's that bad of a year from Coleman-Jones coming back from an Achilles, breaking back into the team, which Goda didn't do, and we'll get to Goda in the next time we do this thing. People are saying NA. Yeah, is it NA, or are we going to rank him because he did make it back into the team? I'm maybe going to overrule the NA thing only because I feel like because he made it back in, I think it's maybe a good season from him. I'm getting a lot of NAs. If you guys want NA on this, that is fine. We'll go NA. But he played a game. He made it back. I was actually going to give him quite a high rating just because I didn't expect him to get back in the team, and he made his way back, and his VFL form was good. Yeah, everyone's going NA here. All right. Okay, I think we'll go NA then. NA for him. If anyone's got any other thoughts on that, yeah, this is what I was. Bonnaroo here, B+, played better than I expected. I'm assuming we're talking about CCJ still here. Fabiano, NA, harsh to rank. Okay. NA it is. I was actually going to give him quite a high rating because he did make it back and played a game, which I think is fair enough. We're getting a few more ratings here, though. Based on expectation, he actually kind of deserves a B. Yeah, I was thinking around a B. I was thinking a B or a B+ for him. Because I didn't expect him to play. He became the first choice option when Sherry went down. And then his VFL form was very, very good. So, look, NA, if you guys want, or I'm happy to give him like a B+. Honestly, if we're ranking on this list, I'd nearly put him in the A's because I didn't expect him to play. Okay, we're just going to go NA. I think that's fair enough. Yeah, Glenn, you're totally right. 60% game time in one game. So yeah, it's not fair. Okay, NA, we're going NA. All right, last two here. Goad. We've got Taylor Goad. Didn't play a game, so we're probably going to go NA on that one as well. Love him as a prospect, though. Really, really exciting stuff. I think we'll go NA on Goad, although, I think from him in the VFL, I'd nearly give him an A+. I think he's developed so much from putting up Jacob Edwards numbers in the twos to, really, really improving and being our number one ruck option. And he was the one that we wanted to come in when Sherry went down. So look, NA for Goats, didn't play a senior game, but I think it's at least an A or something like that in the twos. All right, let's finish this up here with Geordie Payne. And then we can have a look and see what day you guys want to do this one here. Geordie Payne broke into the side. And I think he played okay. I'm going to get his numbers up here, the amount of games and things like that. Once again, this is the last one we'll do for the night. And then we're going to do part 2 in a few days' time. I'll get your thoughts on that. Okay. So he played 3 games, kicked 7 goals. He did go missing a little bit in the Adelaide game. I believe he got subbed off then. Someone let me know if that is true. What's fair? I need your judgment on this. Did we expect Geordie Payne to play? I'm thinking in the Bs, maybe like a B, maybe a flat B, a B-. I don't really know what I expected. Let me know what you guys think we should have, your expectation of him would have been. We've got widescreen TV here. What grade do you give Rawlings? We'll get to that when the actual trade thing that pops up. It's a lot of C's and C pluses here for Payne. Should have played more from James. Jager here says, C wasn't bad, but didn't excite me either. Interesting. Kicked 7 in 3 games, So I think C might be a little bit harsh. B+ for Geordie Payne from Clancy here. Did not expect him to get a game and did okay. Yeah. In the B, I think in the B's somewhere. George, B-. The chat's gone. Sorry. B- was decent, but worried that he won't make it. Interesting. C+. Payne kicked 3 goals, didn't he? No, I think he kicked. Sorry, you're totally right. I've screwed that up here. I've looked at a complete different stat. Played 3, kicked 3. My mistake. I apologize. I don't know. What does he deserve? B+. Maybe a B-. Maybe a B, because I didn't really expect him to play that much. So maybe a B is fair. Get your ratings in. B+ from Bonnaroo, just because he is from Tassie. Well, look, you can sway me that way. How many did he kick at AFL level from Jakey here? But 3. I apologize. I looked at a different stat. It was not 7. Widescreen TV, I think this is some pretty generous grading. Well, you let me know in the chat, widescreen, what you think he should have. You know, once again, we're grading on what we expected compared to what he delivered. Clancy, B sounds fair. I think B is pretty fair. I don't think we expected him to play a game. I thought we'd see him at some point. I don't think we expected him to play more than 3 games. I think he did what maybe we expected, to break into the team late, kicked a few goals, looked decent at the level, but didn't excite too much, but didn't also look like a bust. So I think B is pretty fair for Geordie Payne. This is the last one we're going to do. So what I want you to do is put your gradings in the chat, and we're going to average this out. Just put B, B plus, B minus in there. Spam me with them, and let's just see. Widescreen C. Give me a reasoning, widescreen. Did you expect more from him? Did you expect him to play more than 3 games? I think that's a little bit harsh. I think B is more than fair there. So, yeah, let's see how that goes. All right. After this, what we're going to do is we're going to do part 2 a different night. Would you guys want part 2 to this on, I finish work at 7 on Thursday. We could do like an 8 p.m. stream, but the football's on, so I probably want to watch that. The problem I've got is over the weekend, I am very, very busy. Friday night, I've got a concert. Saturday night, I've got a concert. Potentially Sunday night then. Sunday, I'm going to go to the AFLW, and then maybe we can do a Sunday night stream about part 2 of the player gradings. That's probably all I can really do for you. Let me know in the chat if Sunday night or afternoon works for you guys, because I'm going to go to the W. That starts at 3, and then I'll go straight home from that. So I think we go Sunday night stream for the second part of these player gradings. Get it in the chat right now, Sunday or Monday. I can do both of those. Let me know what you would rather for the stream, and then we're going to finish this up here. Kane says Sunday night is nice. We're still getting some chats here. P.S. I appreciate this. Fit it in where you can, but appreciate it. Thank you. I'm doing my best. But look, I'll be fired up. We can chat some AFLW as well if we need to. Sunday night is perfect from Justin. All right. Looks like we might go Sunday night, if that is good with you guys. Message me on the Instagram. Facebook doesn't really, I don't check those enough. So get me on Instagram. Shadow says Sunday night works. Jonty here. Whenever works for you, Josh. Thanks, mate. Streams are great. I appreciate you tuning in, Jonty, and everyone else who has been here. Glenn, everyone's saying Sunday. Okay. Sunday seems to work good. Michaela, whenever suits you, Josh. All right. Sunday it is, guys. I'll let you know of a time very, very soon. Stay tuned to the Instagram and the Facebook and that sort of stuff. I'll be posting the time for that then. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, please, please, please subscribe. My goal is 2,000 by the end of the year. We're so close. It looks like we're going to break that. But if you haven't for any reason, subscribe, like the video. All your comments really, really help out. Glenn, you're too young for Facebook. Absolutely not. I'm 30 years old, Glenn. I was in the prime Facebook years. Thank you very much. I made Facebook in 2008 when I was in year 8, and Facebook was my jam. I didn't probably start using Instagram more than Facebook until, you're looking at the late 2010s, I would say. So, look, let's see how we go. I'm a 30-year-old man, you know. Jaeger here says, are you uploading this live? I missed the start. Yes, the live will be uploaded and you can all watch from the start in your own pace and your own time. All right, I'll see you guys on Sunday. Click 2:30. Look, I know I'm young to some people, but it doesn't mean I wasn't there. I'm prime Facebook years. Don't take away my millennial status. I was listening to my cam and I was an angsty teen. I was sweeping my fringe over. Fabiano, young at heart, Josh. Don't look at 25. I appreciate it, mate. These greys are, really getting the better of me. PS 30, yeah, real old. Look, I'm young to some people. I'm old to some people. I'm right in the middle of what's going on right now. So look, we will see. I understand. I'm doing my best. George, thanks for the show, Josh. Appreciate you taking the time out of your night to give North Faithful some content to engage with now that the season is over. George, I appreciate you tuning in. This is all about you guys. If you guys didn't love it and want it and comment and follow and do all this stuff that I never thought I'd be able to do, I would have not been in the position I'm in. The fact that people say hello to me at games, I've had some players on, it's all thanks to you guys watching it and made it a bigger platform. All right, I'm just rambling here, but P.S., when you said you didn't know Gilbert McAdam, I almost choked having been to those games. I apologize. I found footy a little bit late too. I didn't really start watching until 2005 when I was 10 because my parents loved NRL and I defined it on my own. Look, Foss, wait till you're 40, Josh. Yeah, well, you'll have white hair on your head. I absolutely will. There's so many chats I want to talk to here, but I do need to go and eat some dinner. Adam, hey, Josh, love the pod. Keep it up. Bring on 2026. Absolutely, my friend. That is fantastic stuff. All right. I want to read out all of these. Jordan, definitely unk. I've learned that unk is a Gen Z word for I'm old. So, look, I don't understand all the lingo, but Jordan, if you got any more lingo to share with me, mate, please let me know. All right. I have to absolutely go now. Michaela, Josh, best North content. Oh, I feel bad not reading out everybody's comments because you're so nice to me. All right, I'm going now. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. This will be uploaded on YouTube if you missed the start. Sunday night, we're going to do this. And look, I appreciate everyone tuning in and getting your comments in. I'm going to go eat some chicken and mushroom pie that I made last night. Look, my partner, Daniela, she is Colombian. She did cook me many, many things if you were here for the last stream, but it's my turn to cook her. I made her, look, Australian/British classic chicken and mushroom pie. All right, that is enough. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love you guys heaps. I'm going to find out a way that you guys can contribute to the show if you would like to, but subscribing, liking, commenting, following along, and just being nice to me is the best. All right, I'm having my dinner. Nuke says, enjoy my dinner. I'm putting some comments up on here. Ciao, PS. Go eat. I'm absolutely doing it. See you guys. Love you. Bye.